That
I
was
wish
so
it was.
peak.
I wish it was like Craig though, and it was like 5, 4.
Just got creepy.
Yeah.
All right, guys, before we get started, if you guys want to be interviewed on the podcast, jump over to cataclysmicgamers.com. Scroll down and you'll find the jank deck list submission. Submit your deck and we'll check it out with you. Talk about it. So, on tonight's episode, we've got Digiguy
Oop,
from the
oop.
TCG Jungle. Go check him out on YouTube. He's on TikTok too.
There,
Welcome, Digiguy.
thank you, thank you. And if you could, don't check me out on TikTok. I'm the laziest content creator.
Hey, I'm right there with you, buddy.
Yeah,
But it
dude,
works.
it does. Shout out to CapCut.
Yep. The
Yes.
real MVPs.
Yeah, I remember my wife asked me like, "How'd you edit this?" And I was like, "Don't even worry about it."
Don't you fear. We got it down pat.
Yeah, I know a guy. I hired somebody.
All right. So let me pull up your deck list here.
I didn't even. That, I was going to say when you said or upload your jank, and I was like, I updated Melga.
Hey, it's a deck list. Before we jump into the deck list, let's see here. So give us a short introduction in your history with TCGs.
History with TCGs. It's wild. I think about this now. I don't have one. I was I played Yu-Gi-Oh like as a kid, and I think I gave that up after Yu-Gi-Oh got a little too complicated for children. And then I didn't play TCGs. I didn't play anything. But what happened was my wife wanted to get back into first gen Yu-Gi-Oh. And so we went to a card store, and I was looking at the Yu-Gi-Oh like starters, and I'm like, man, do you have anything like from like Gen 1, like Blue Eyes, Dark Magician, yada yada. And just so happened I looked over and I saw Matt Ishida on a starter deck, and I was like, "What's that?" He was like, "The Digimon TCG," and they were in Double Diamond at the time. And I was like, "You don't understand, sir." I was like, "I don't have a TCG history. I've loved Digimon. I faked being sick to stay home from school when Digimon premiered. I've just always loved Digimon." And then the TCG came back. It's like not just playing the game, but like collecting the game. Uh, and then for a while, I didn't play Digimon. I had the cards, but I was really, I don't want to say big. I was never like big. I was moderately big on Whatnot. And I would go live every Thursday and I would sell packs and sell singles. And then finally, he's in my Discord. He's the co founder of TCG Jungle, Mr. Wild. He was like, hey, we should play this game. And again, that was the release of Double Diamond, and ever since then, TCGs have like come back into my life. So I play a lot of Digimon. Obviously, it's my favorite game. It's my favorite IP. I just got into Star Wars. We were talking about that a little bit earlier, and then I'm trying to dive into Pokemon, and I dive into everything. Mostly Bandai though. I try to stick to Bandai. One Piece. I didn't get into BSS, and then like we were just saying before the countdown. I did enjoy Union Arena. But as far as like history of TCGs, I don't have one. I just love Digimon, and I saw starter decks, and I was like, I need this.
So Digimon, the cardboard crack consumed you.
Oh, absolutely. And even if I'd never found out about the card game, I was still what Double Diamond drop 5 years maybe. So I got in the game at like 25. I'm 30 now. I was still like watching the Digimon show on Hulu, and like my wife would get so mad. She'd be like, "We're watching the Digimon movie again." I'm like, "Yeah, but what if Deobormon dies differently this time?" So it was definitely cardboard crack, but it was it's also really cool to like open packs, and like I love Melga. There he is on screen, so it's cool to like see Melga cards and be like, man, I loved this dude when I was a kid.
And now you just get to sling the cardboard all the time.
Yeah, and again, it's not jank, but it's Melga, and I've always had a weird fascination with Matt Ishida. My real name is Matt. Matt Ishida was a protective older brother. I'm the oldest brother of 8 siblings, so it's like it just fits.
Oh
Yeah.
wow,
You
that's some deep backstory right there for you.
yeah.
I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
That's
yeah.
a
So,
that's a whole locals right there.
dude, I try. I'm my brothers. I joke about this all the time. My brothers and sisters are the unnerdiest people like ever. I don't know what
Oh
happens.
no.
My parents had me and like they put all their cool into me and then they just like parted it out for my brothers and sisters.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
that's how it goes sometimes. You
Hmm.
just got all the best genes. That's just how
Yeah,
it
it
works.
is. It's nuts because like I talk to my brothers and he's all, we all love like sports and stuff, but like my brother can tell you stats from a football game 4 years ago and he'll like try to tell me about that stuff. I'm just like, yeah, I know, but did you know that Grandis topped a local? This is crazy. Like, I don't care what Peyton Manning did in his day. All right, we're talking about Digimon right now.
All right.
Did you
Let's see.
know?
Well, so of course your favorite Digimon is, of course, the Garuru line.
Yeah, Guru is my like all-time favorite, but the line itself is just awesome.
It was definitely one of my favorites whenever O1 started. I think I related with Matt too because of the Big Brother thing.
It
So
I think O1 especially you related more to like the characters of Digimon more so than just the one Ash. But like
Yes.
you were 15 and kicked out. Like I can't. There's nothing we don't share. That my mom would never kick me out at 10 years old to go chase stray dogs. Like, so, at least Matt was like abducted somehow. He was his little brother. Like I get that. I'm a big brother.
I agree with that with 100%. Digimon, and it's grown with us. Like
Hmm.
just from the new Adventure O2 movie, um, there was a lot of kids there, and I'm sitting there as a dad now, and spoiler alert, um, watching a young child be neglected.
Hmm.
I'm like crying. I'm a 38-year-old man. I'm like just tears running down my eyes. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah. Even I'm gonna say spoiler warning, but if you haven't seen Last Evolution Kazuna, like this, then it's your
Oh
fault.
yeah,
But like the
yeah.
end of that, we lost Agumon and Gabumon, and my wife couldn't and I was bawling, like bawling, and my wife couldn't understand. And I was like, you have to like from
Oh
this young age to 30, I've always, in a weird way, I'm
yeah,
just saying, in a weird way, I've always had Gabumon and Agumon, and it was beautifully done. A lot of people are mad about it, but it was beautifully done. They're gone now, and that's because Matt and Ty got older. And that's what happens is I was a kid, I was introduced to Gabumon. Now I'm old, and that's like Digimon's way of saying, hey, it's okay to let go. Like, you're older now. And it's like, oh, you got me, dude. Oh, but definitely a little bit
that
more
wa-
relatable.
that was a tearjerker. I did cry. My wife's like, "Why are you crying?" I'm like, "You don't understand."
I had to call my brother. I was like, give me a sad football fact so my wife doesn't think I'm a sissy.
All right. So, what play style do you typically lean towards? I know the Guru line's your baby, but whenever you're
Yeah.
looking at other decks, is there a certain play style that you lean towards?
Yeah, I don't like it's weird. I'm not sure if you guys will understand this or if anyone will. I like to play a smart aggressive. So like I like Black War. He's one of my favorite deck wise because he is aggressive, but he's smart. I also like the new red hybrid. It is I call it a brain dead deck. I don't think it is. I'm gonna keep calling it that though to piss people off. But like Rookie Rush, I don't like Rookie Rush. I don't like Armor Rush, but I love aggressive decks that once you have a stack, that could be the game. I don't even this deck list. This isn't even my play style. Like I just built it because it's Melga, and this will be the deck I play test for Gen Con and take to regionals throughout the season. But playstyle wise, yeah, I'm aggressive but smart.
I think most people would probably label that as kind of mid range,
Yeah.
kind of keeping control of the game, but you still got that. I'm gonna slap your face off.
Well, I actually, speaking mid range, I built Nightmares his Gamma deck he put in your guys' Discord. I have that built because he's like it's mid range. You can swing with your fours and five, and I was like, that sounds pretty cool. I'm gonna go with that.
Listen, that has potential to be it. This is what hurts that deck is where there's so much going on, but it's super adaptive as well, which is what makes it fun. But it's like you have purple that you kind of want to die to go into your trash, and then you have to get a Serious Mon or an Arcturus Mon. The deck has
Um,
so much going on that it's tough.
I've only gotten to play it a couple times. Unfortunately, the matchups going into those play testing matches were pretty bad. I was going against bunnies in one of them, and then I think I was playing in a proxy deck against what is going to be the new Masty. But I liked it. Again, I like the fact that I it's not a brain dead aggressive swing, 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 swing. It's let me think about like if you have tapped Pokemon or tapped Digimon, do I swing at that tapped Digimon or do I swing at security? I like making those decisions. But if
It
you're
is
the Rust
definitely one of those
Tyrannomon
decks.
player, you swing at that tapped Digimon and then trash security. So
trash all the security.
Ew, gross.
but I like that about, like I said, my playstyle going into like Black War. I like having the protection to where like I'm just gonna swing at security, and if I hit the 15 DP quartz or merciful mode, okay, well, that's fine. Like I don't care, and then I'll reboot. And when I unsuspend, I'm trashing a security anyways.
It's very good.
Yeah. So is there a certain color that you lean towards play
I like,
wise?
yeah, I like to say I'm a blue player. Blue hybrid's where I started. It was the first deck I ever built, and it was the first deck I ever took to a competitive, not just a locals. It was the first I played in the online regional, and I played blue hybrid. So I like to go blue. I think more so. I think I'm maturing, and I think like red's starting to grow on me. So I definitely like
That's
red.
that's the opposite of maturing.
You hush, you hush.
Yeah,
Silence you.
yeah. So I'm starting to go a little red. I did do it like a couple months of Bloom Lord, and I liked that. But I think overall, like red's that's the color I lean towards. If I'm gonna build anything, it'll probably be red.
So is there a color that you don't ever want to play or try to stay away from?
Yeah, if you have looked me up on TikTok and you've seen the 30 plus TikToks I've made, I won't touch yellow. I won't ever do it. I won't. It's gross. Uh, I used to say that about purple, but I built Luga. I thoroughly enjoy Luga, but I can't see me playing a yellow deck. And hot take, I'm sure you guys have your own. I think recovery should be no more than 5. Like at no point should you have more than 5 security.
It got pretty wild when I was playing against Wholehearted, and especially when Mikey was playing against him. They both had like 9 security at one point, I think.
So
I don't think that's a hot take. I mean, it it is crazy, especially with how um so security is different than playing from your trash. You know how purple,
mhm.
everyone's like, oh, your trash is like another hand. But when it's your shields is another hand, and Patamon, it's I can see your take not being a hot take in my opinion because it gets rough.
Yeah, it got to a point, and we ran a tournament, just a Discord tournament, local tournament. We had vaccine versus vaccine mirror match, and at some point during that game, I hopped in as the host, and I was like, "Listen, whoever makes it to 10 security wins. And like both players were like, I was kind of like half joking, but like both players got like upset ish with me. The one being a good friend of mine, so he wasn't too upset. But it's like, dude, we're going on 45 minutes. Every other game has ended. We're waiting on you two. And like they were both undefeated. And it's like, I'm looking, we started this tournament at 6 o'clock. It's going on 11. And we don't know who's undefeated or not because we can't get you guys to end the game. I understand why people like yellow, and I get that security, the minus security that is in the game now, and recovery is good, but I do believe Bandai's got to cap it somewhere. It's like, hey, no, even if it's not no more than 5, like you can't have no more than 8, because then a lot of people are like, oh, red hybrid just swings 8 checks on. Well, it has to, because you've got 19 security.
I mean, you gotta lose somehow. You can't just keep
At,
going.
at one point, me and Wholehearted, I think, had a combined. I think we combined one game for almost 22 security between the two of us. 22.
And I can see the point of if you're in the game, if you're one of the players, that's probably really, really fun, and you're using your brain and you're thinking, and that's good for you. But like, again, during this tournament, if you've got people waiting on you, and it's like, come on. Like EX06, by the time we go to Gen Con, EX06 will be here, and I've already told like all my teammates, I'm going 0 and 3 because it's going to be Masty and yellow armor vaccine at that point. It's like I can't sit here that long knowing all this stuff is going on around me.
03 drop, baby.
My buddy made the It's Always Sunny, you know how episodes end, and it's like the gang does this. So he made a little thing for us, says the gang goes 0 and 3 at Gen Con.
Yeah.
I'm just like, hell yeah. But he's playing Nume. He'll be all right. I won't. I'm playing this. I'm playing Melga.
All right. So at this point with BT-15, how do you feel about the direction of the game and with the upcoming merge next year? Do you think it's going in the right direction?
Yeah, I believe so. I think the merge is cool. I know a lot of people are kind of a little upset with it. I think it brings a whole new like breath of fresh air to the game. There's always been that argument online, net decking versus building your own deck, and that kind of takes away from the net decking thing, but not really.
Yes.
Like, because now if you go to locals and you top, people can't look at you and then be like, "Where'd you get that list?" Don't worry about it. I built it. I think the merge is really, really good. And also, I think it's going to be good in the future for nationals and worlds, because you can. So like this list, I net decked it. This is not my original list. I net decked this. I can't do any content on this without giving the original person credit. And I don't know the original person. This was a Twitter post I saw. I was like, I'm just going to build this because I'm lazy. With the merge, it gives kind of you as the player a bit more freedom, to swap out the EX01 Gabu. Get rid of those. It's your own build. And I think that's going to bring more content to the game with people doing that, because they're going to give off their deck profile and then be like, hey, if this doesn't work for you, here's 8 cards that maybe you can throw into the deck somewhere that might work for you. So with the merge, I think it's awesome. And like I said, Worlds is going to be crazy just because now we're sharing a meta. Japan hasn't had it for 4 months longer than we have, even though, America won Worlds. And with BT-15, I'm always hyped for a new set. I don't get I don't get people that are, I'm not buying it because it's trash. I'm buying it because it's Digimon and it's cardboard and I need it. So I'm always excited for any new set.
All right. So let's jump into this list. I also see some Shatterful on those sleeves.
Yeah, that is actually there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good old prismatic
Shatterfoil is one of the
defenders.
best patterns they've done.
you they
Literally,
were I
Shatterfoil sold out so fast. I'm glad I bought 5.
yeah, I played in your guys' mental health tournament a while ago, and I think you guys were giving sleeves away, but I didn't win, the giveaway. But I was like, well, I need some of those. Those look cool. So I bought just the mat. In fact, they're on one of these decks right now. I bought the mat and the holographics, and then for the Melga, those are 2-sleeve, double sleeved, with the penny sleeves that are Shatterpoint or Stars, one of the two. But the deck's behind me. I'm not going to get it. But so I saw these, and then I joined the Discord. I think like a day before the tournament or a week before the tournament, and then you guys started posting more and more about prismatic defenders, and I was like, let me go ahead and hop on that trend.
Yeah, they're great. Love those guys.
And they're from Cleveland, and I'm 40 minutes from Cleveland, so I was like,
Oh,
it
they're
fits.
probably in some local shops around you then.
I go to the one local shop for cards. So about 5 minutes down the road from me is a comic book shop where I go, and sometimes they have cards, sometimes they don't, but I go there for comics. And then 20 minutes that away is a actual card shop. They do not carry those, but I can always ask the guy.
Hey, you set them up.
Yeah, 'cause I'm no hate to no one, but like Dragon Shields are boring.
Oh, their quality controls just went out the door. The last 2 packs that I've bought, they've been ripped up top, and I'm not gonna trash on Dragon Shield anymore. So
Why not?
I don't know anything about Melga, so run us through this list real quick.
So I'm gonna use my pointer. So you have to run the one ofs. So I'll get that out of the way. The Gabu X and the Guru X, they shouldn't have been banned. Bring back my boy. Basically everything level 3 and 4 is just a draw. And then when you draw, you gain memory and get 1,000. And the whole deck is based around swinging and then restanding and swinging and restanding and swinging. And you, in a turn, if you're, let's see, if you're at your Guru X, swing, he'll restand. Go into your Were Guru, swing, he'll restand. You go, and that was for 2 memory if you don't have the mat. If you do have the mat, it's for 1 memory. Go into your, Guru X, restand, swing, and then go into your Melga, swing, restand, and at the end of turn, Melga restands, and he's a blocker. Also, I can't remember which Melga it is, but if your opponent attempts to even come back, they lose 4 memory. So like it's just rude. It's just a rude deck. And then the Sorais are in there just because I'm an a-hole and please hit that in security. That's hilarious to me, especially with the ace cards and overflow.
I love Sora.
I've made multiple the one ace card I think is the best ace card, Zudo Ace. Multiple people will Zudo trash what is it, 2 of my Digivolutions and then swing and hit a Sora, and I'm like, payback's a bitch.
That's true.
Besides that, and like I say, it runs the same as the old Melga. The only problem I have with this deck list is the Sorais. The 2 Sorai are just not enough removal. And your Melga's not as protected as like Black War or the War Gray deck. He can easily be taken off board. But luckily, with you've got the 2 mats and all that draw power, you can probably build another stack quite easy. It's just annoying when you do inevitably get hit by the Brick Goblin. And I know a lot of people run the Omni decks,
Yes.
but I feel like if I'm already at Omni, I should have game.
It's the one that stands out that I'm not even sure what it is the Foxfire. What's
The Fox.
Oh. Foxfire is actually a good card that I run in Gabu, and what it does is it's if you have a Garurumon or Gabumon in its name, one of your opponent's level 4,
I'm gonna let my
you
dog
get to
out. Give me
return
one
one of your
second.
opponent's level 4 lower Digimon to the hand. And if you have a Gabumon or Garurumon in its name, return one of your opponent's Digimon with the lowest level to the hand instead.
Ooh.
Yeah.
All right, I like that.
How much memory does that
Yeah.
cost? Because that sounds pretty good.
4.
It's
It's
4
4
cost.
memory. And but it's like it's still not it's one of your fastest removals. And if you hit it in security, you get to activate the main effect, which is nice. So, and when are you not going to have a Gabumon or Garurumon in name? Which
Yeah.
that makes it even
Uh,
better.
The good thing too is even for the 4 memory, you almost don't mind because the deck is somewhat like memory gain. I mean, all the Gobus are good because you're drawing one, which means you get to gain one draw or gain one plus 1,000 to your stack. The Gabu from EX01, I think, is the most slept on card in any blue deck. A lot of people were calling me weird for playing an Old Force, but you get to grab a Tamer. So,
Yep.
I mean, I only run the 2 blue. Eventually, after this deck has ran its course, it'll be Gabu Bond, and then I'll have a lot more Tamers,
hey,
obviously.
Gabubon's been putting in some work here in the last couple of regionals.
I
Uh,
I wasn't gonna build it, and I hate. Am I allowed to shout out other content creators?
Go for it. Send
Oh,
them.
yeah.
Yeah, so Primitive Kage is one of my favorites, and
Yep.
he's just been running his locals for the Gabumon, and I'm like, don't do this to me.
Listen,
Listen.
Dan Vang, I watched his interview or his deck list today, and he was talking about how he played against a couple different Gabumon decks, and they're putting in some work at regionals.
Yeah, and that's coming up. Like Gabumon support's coming up here. I can't remember when that comes out. Like BT18 or something.
I think there is one card that I want to
I thought we
see.
were getting a new
So,
Gabumon.
yeah.
There's an ace coming for it.
Oh
but I
yeah,
don't
yeah,
remember
okay.
Yeah,
what
It's
the
the
it
aces
ace.
says.
drop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the ace.
Is it
Okay.
17? BT-17?
I think so. So, this is my question, and you being a Gabu Bond player, um, a lot of people tried. Well, not a lot of people. The Wolf of Friendship from BT-15, um, and its card effect. It's an option card. It's like while you have a Tamer with Matt Ishida in its name, you can ignore the color requirements,
Mm-hmm.
and you place one Garurumon and one Were Garurumon from your trash as one of your Gabumon's bottom Digivolution cards, and they can Digivolve into a Metal Garurumon in your hand, ignoring its Digivolution requirements and without paying the cost.
I could probably tech that in there. I think when I first read that card, in my head, I didn't run enough Matt Ishidas.
That's true.
Because it's the 3 cost Matt, or sorry, the 4 cost match or memory setter. I like to get him out early, but I don't see him all the time, and I only run 4 Tamers. So you're more than likely gonna build your stack before you have either Matt out.
I was wondering if we'll see it more with Gabu Bond because it's Matt Ishida in name,
Mm-hmm.
and I know a lot of us play the Matt and is it Sora, the blue red tamer,
Yeah,
and then of course you have all the normal. So you run a lot more mats. Like I think in my
yeah,
Gabu Bond deck, I run like 9 mats
yeah.
between the new blue. So I mean, maybe we'll see that more in Gabu Bond.
I could definitely take out. I don't think I need the X antibody. I think that card's kind of ran its course. I like it too. But I could definitely tech in. Excuse me, 2 of the starter deck mats. But I've been having so much fun. Like This is a deck list. Again, I saw off Twitter and threw together. And I only posted it to your guys' website because uh, I just wanted to get interviewed. The ego in me. No, I'm just
Hey.
I'm just joking. But it's because around the time I built this, a couple other decks just popped in my head, and then bunnies dropped, and I was like, man, I gotta play test a bunch of fun decks before I even get into like a competitive mindset. And I knew I was taking off the first couple months of 2024 from Digimon. So I feel like once I play test this a bit more, it'll look a lot different, I think. Um, the only problem with this playtesting this and then switching out cards is they are double sleeved. And the penny sleeves from Prismatic Defenders are snug.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
They are snug. And it's kind of a handful to get those cards out of there.
I always well, I don't use the inners anymore. I just use the matte ones, but
Mhm.
I always have a stack of them, and then I just these are my playtest cards. Let me just swap this out.
That's what I'm gonna start doing. Is I'm gonna start putting play like I would grab. I have a bucket of Melga cards that, as time has gone on since the deck first dropped, that I've just changed out. I just need to sleeve all those, and then they'll be good, and then I can just
Yep.
swap them as I go.
All right. So there's one other thing we were going to talk about tonight, and since you're on here, we can get your insights on it as well. Let me swap this screen over here.
I love how we're all vaping.
It,
Besides Tiny.
He could
I
be. We
hate
don't
it.
know.
I hate it. I switched recently. Nothing to do with cards. I switched recently to the Zins, but like I feel so weird. Like
Yeah.
I don't like it. My wife laughs at me
You
every
putting in a
time.
fat upper dicky, brother?
Yeah, and that was another thing, dude. You get on TikTok and it's just like a bunch, and not like young, like underage, but it's like a bunch of like young kids like talking about upper deckies, and I'm just like, I don't like this.
Yeah.
They're so much cooler than me. I don't deserve this.
All right, so I made this cool little presentation today, threw it together. We wanted to talk about the top decks of BT-15, and here we've got all the top contenders. It's a very diverse meta, and there's been a lot of complaints from people on the Facebook group, and there's people that love it, like us. But there's a lot of people that don't like such a diverse meta because they can't play. They feel like they can't play whatever they want to because they got to worry about this, and you don't know how to play against this. So we kind of want to just talk about the counters to each of these decks and the certain counter cards that you can play in decks.
I think
So we've
Do we want to run down the list?
yeah, send it,
Because some
Mikey.
people may not know. Well, some people may not know. So we'll start right there with Davis. So we've got Davis, and then we'll go right. We got Mirage, Galga. We got Leviamon. We got Yellow Vaccine. Security Control, I'm assuming, is
Yo,
that one.
Mhm.
Lugermon, Red Hybrid, Metal Gar or Rapid, and then we got Marcus.
now
Not Shine
Marcus.
Greymon,
Well,
Marcus.
Yeah.
There's two different variants of this Marcus that you can run. You can run the Shine Gray, or you can go into the yellow vaccine or the yellow hybrid Marcus deck that's been popping up.
Yeah.
And then finally we got Numamon, who has
I was assuming that was the one he was going with.
Mhm.
yeah. And then we got Numamon, he's now had 2 regional tops. So old boogers and bears is going to be popping around everywhere.
Fun fact, he's still only around 25%. So people are bringing him. It's just not like Alphamon tier or Black War Gray tier. We're not at that 60 or 70% yet.
So some of the counter cards you got.
Ding. I'm lagging a little bit, guys, so sorry if I talk over you sometimes.
It's all good. So prevent and play by effect, and there's actually, I think it's this one. There's another page for this, or maybe it's later. So Gatsumon, Pillowmon, and Pomemon, all turns players can't play Digimon by effects. So this is gonna help counter against what from our meta list here.
Does it?
Numemon.
Yeah, doesn't your Davas play by effect in the breeding?
Yes.
Yep.
Mhm. And then, fun fact, I think I asked this in your guys' Discord. That does take effect even though it's in breeding.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of people that are like, no, you can't touch breeding area. I was like, well, it says by effect.
So
Yep.
the distinction about that is that the effect that plays the Digimon is not from the breeding area; it's from the play area, and this prevents that effect.
From taking, okay.
Yeah, and since the effect activated from the play area instead of the breeding area, it is not safe.
Yeah, so taking out Davas and Numemons, all those fun little buy effects. This would stop aces too.
Mm-hmm.
So any kind of ace plays kind of.
No, because Ace is a Digivolve; it's not a play. This just stops you from playing by effect. Blast Digivolve is not a play; it's a Digivolve.
Yeah. It's technically the counter step. But if, because we do have cards that do, aces that do play things by effect, it would stop that. So,
And also, I know it wasn't on the list. I'm decently sure these all stop later in later sets when more cards have fortitude. This stops fortitude.
It does.
yes.
This will also help against the Leviamon's chomping.
Yep. Whenever he tries to come
Yep.
back from the trash, you can tell him no. It
Mm-hmm.
also stops the effect that they use in order to force play a Digimon on your side of the field so that they can get their effects.
Oh yeah.
I always forgot Pokemon said all those cards say players can't. I always thought it was like
Yeah,
opponents
I
can't.
I was testing Russ Tyranno, and with the bunnies, you get a lot of free play stuff, but you can't stop yourself from playing your own cards. So it's definitely one of those. Hey, it's all turns and all players, not just your opponent. Unlike these guys who prevent memory gain for your opponent.
Yep.
I played against Beals last night, and Terriermon came in clutch.
That checks out.
Yes.
Yep. So these
Yes.
cards all stop your opponent from gaining memory except by their tamer effects. So definitely Mirage.
Hmm.
What else we got that's gaining memory right now?
Well, you've got Mirage. You've got well, any kind of Marcus if they're running the August that gain a memory, just for being on the board. You've got some things in
Doesn't Ukomon also
red
gain
hybrid.
memory, or is that just Louis?
Yep.
No, Ukamon is a raise one, gain one.
Yeah, okay. So you can stop the Ukomon
Mm-hmm.
from gaining memory.
Doesn't Numemon have a
One
got,
of his
like-
Platinum Numemon has an
Yeah.
odd play to gain 2, so you could stop that.
and then if you run the Uko in Nume, so then you're stopping two aspects of that game.
Yes.
And then
This will also be great in future decks when we get the new trainers.
Mm-hmm.
Also stops from popping those memory boosts.
Yeah.
It's so weird. You don't see many of those since the training cards came out.
It's
Training just speeds up a deck so much more than, because we have so many searchers now. Used to, we had the issue that a lot of decks didn't have enough hard play rookies to search. now a training boost not only searches for any 2 cards of your color, pretty much.
Mhm.
It helps with your next Digivolution, so it searches a little bit, but helps keep your turn. So I think the benefit there is greater than a memory boost in most decks.
Yeah, it really depends on the deck, what your goals are, but the trainings are definitely seeing a lot more play. There was one list was scrolling through today that had it was like 3 memory boosts and 3 trainings. So they were just digging.
Yeah, I think I run in the Melga. I think I run 2 and 2.
I feel like that's a pretty good area. I was trying the 2 and 2 in my Rust Torino build, and I was playing the double Typhoon. So
Mhm.
and I like the Typhoon way better because playing out those Terrier mons for free
I'm
is
decently
nuts.
sure when I built that, the only reason I put the memory boost is it's from the O2 movie art with Davis and Vmon, and I was like, these have to be in there somewhere. They're doing the cute little fist bump.
Well, wait. This is what you need to get then. I think I've got 2 more lying around. If you like that, you need to get these bad boys for it. That's got the
Oh
Gabumon
yeah,
on it.
bad
That's
influence.
what you need to get.
I can hear her writing up those divorce papers.
All right. Next, we got prevent cost reduction, and there's 2 different versions of the cost reduction, which I noticed today while I was making this slide. So, Cutemon, Galeosmon, and Siokamon, opponent's turn, your opponent can't reduce Digivolution cost. And then there is the Psychmon, Chikurimon, and Solar, who affect all turns players can't.
Reduce play costs.
Yeah. So they can't reduce play costs.
Haha, training boosts.
Exactly. Training boost shuts down my poor boy Tyga.
So that shut down not really shut it down, the vaccine from digivolving from security? Isn't that a
No,
reduced cost?
No, because that so it doesn't reduce the Digivolution cost. It's you can Digivolve without paying the cost.
Oh,
The way it's worded makes it ignore the effect basically.
Don't. You're fueling Digiguy's fire. That yellow's broken.
Adding to the flame.
For the same reason, those cards don't affect Blast Digivolution too, because Blast Digivolution doesn't reduce the cost. It's you Digivolve without paying the cost.
well, I can't be mad at Blast Digivolution, but I still hate yellow.
Fair enough. Valid point, good sir. Valid point.
It's gonna be my whole 2024. It's like, who are you voting for this year? I'm like, whoever stops that color.
We're going to ban yellow, or you're never allowed to play it again.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we've got.
Yellow
go
is
ahead.
the Jabberwock, and this man is looking for a Vorpal sword.
All right. Now we got some level 7 techs,
Techs,
that you
I
can
think.
play.
Yes. I think these are the actual big hitters that hurt. Hang on, guys. It's these. I think these are game changers on both sides for you being aggressive and for you stopping your opponent. They're massive, massive game changers. Any deck you can run them in.
Yeah. So merciful mode, you're putting the cards back in their deck, so you're getting rid of that Leviathan, any kind of purple deck. Merciful mode's good.
And on deletion effects. Because that card states they don't even get to go to your trash. They go to the bottom. So it's like if you was to delete a body on board and they're like, "Oh no, I'm putting it." Nope, you're not putting it in your trash. I'm going to pick those cards and put them at the bottom of your deck. So you technically don't even have a chance to respond for your on deletion effects. So it's nasty.
Kind of, if you're fast enough to get merciful mode out there, you could potentially stop red hybrid too. You're putting those
Yep.
Agoonies and the other Greymon, Burning Greymon, at the, because I think what makes that deck so quick is that you want to kill your guys to do that warp into the 6. So if I can get to 7 before you,
Yeah.
put those back at the bottom of your deck, I'm safe for at least another turn.
Yeah, for sure. Any like, being able to warp off of your tamer into your burning gray or your Greymon, it helps a lot. That's a very good tech card. It was good when Beelzemon was very popular, and I wish I would have known how it worked more at regionals the first time I played. Now understanding the card, it hurts Beelzemon quite a bit.
Well, like I said, I played bunnies against Beals last night, and I tech two merciful. Or sorry, I tech a merciful mode and a quartz into bunnies, and I merciful moded last night, and I still lost, but I mean it saved me a couple turns.
Oh yeah.
It's just bad at cost 6, and then at least for bunnies, you're going off your ace, so the overflow. It's like, dang.
That is true.
Yeah, and then we got
But maybe if fun fact on that deck, maybe if you had the new starter deck from the Double Typhoon, the new Tamer, why did my mind go blank?
Henry or
Rapidmon's Tamer. Yeah, Henry. So if you use the new Henry, if you had him out and you had a Terriermon in your hand, you could do the whole play where you slot a Rapidmon and a Gargam, which a lot of people aren't running Cargo, but you could use that to go ahead and go back into another Mega Gargamon.
So when you guys release this episode, tag Tomo, because Tomo was like, "Why are you running that Henry?" I was like, "Don't you worry about me."
It is very like most people are running the Rapidmon build of that deck, but if you run the stack version where you're basing more off your Mega Gargamons, it's actually a very solid card. That's all I have to say about that.
We got Quartzmon, just locking down your opponent's tamers and Digimon. No unsuspending for you.
I used to hate that
double
card.
quartz. No, not like quartz. I used to hate it, but now that I know how to play around it somewhat, it's not as bad as it. It's still tough, But like for instance, like playing with bunnies, it's kind of easy to get around it if you can Rapidmon into it. You're actually minus. You can almost get it to where you can actually swing into the quartz and kill it. And save your whole board, or like because when we had the quartz lock, which happens quite often if both players are doing that. You're like, all right, if I can just get this Rapidmon out, push him up, counter into that, I can get rid of it. So it's not as tough as it once was. Once you learn how to play around it.
I think I hated it because I only hated it when it first came out and it was new. It was the first of its kind, stun everything. Hunters was going into it too quick.
Yeah.
I love Quartzmon now.
Yes. Yeah.
We got Death X, which that's just your opponent swarming that board, punish them. Play that dude for free.
This is very catastrophic. the Digivolve hurts so many decks. So many decks. It's that card, like I said, is a game changer. If you're hitting any of these if you're able to get to any of these level 7s, if the game has lasted that long, maybe not so much merciful mode, but these last 3, you're probably going to win.
I think Death X is one of those cards that I don't know the proper term for it, but anytime you play against anyone playing those 2 colors, you're just kind of waiting on when that card's coming out. Especially not so much this format, but last format. It was such a wide board format that you had to be prepared just to when you're playing the Commandramon or the Digipolice, you had to know that was coming from somewhere. So it's just one of those cards that kind of puts that, and I don't want to say fear, but it puts that thought in the back of your head. And I think that's what's made it so tough, even up till now.
And then we got Shine
This next
Green.
card.
Ruin Mode.
There's a reason that card is still like $60. That card is just too, I won't say it's too good, but man, seeing that, I just want to go ahead and scoop most of the time. It's like 10,000 blanket DP reduction, recovery 1. Ugh. That's a reason to make you hate yellow right there. That card right there is a reason to make you just despise yellow, period. And it being, oh God, it being a vaccine.
it is, it's definitely an evil card. And nothing against the people that play Ruin Mode, but I make them explain it every time they play it. I know what it does. I just it annoys me so much that I'm just like, what? What's that card do? And then I still try to play stuff and be like, you can't play stuff. And I'm just like, oh, I'm sorry.
God, it's gross. Blanket effects are just so controlly, like Venusmon. That it's just like, oh, if it comes on the field, guess what? It dies. It's like you hard play that, it dies. You can't drop a rookie; it will die. Like,
those blanket,
and if it doesn't die now,
even those blanket effects are part of the reason that Numamon can thrive, because a couple of the Monzimons have the blanket security minus and blanket DP minus.
Mm-hmm.
Nume tier 1.
Yeah.
Tier 1, brother.
So Death X is really the only one that's splashable in any deck, just because of the cost reduction.
Yeah.
But the other ones, if you're playing any of these colors that evolve into this level 7, you probably want to look at taking in 1 or 2.
I have a very
multiple.
standard. Yeah, I was say I have a very standard rule when it comes to deck building. Just a personal rule. I'll always tech in a 7 somewhere. Even back in the Dorbic days when I was running Dorbic constantly, I was teching in an Agubond just to trash a security. Like I'm any of my decks I build, like any level 7, but definitely these 4. If you're playing those colors, I mean, it'd be numb of thought to not tech in at least 2.
Especially if it's dealing with stuff in the meta. Like when I went to Gen Con last year, I was playing Flare and I had a Death X because people were throwing cards everywhere. And I'm like, all right, I'll play this for free. Thanks.
I was like level 7 just give you that gotcha effect. Like watching the Yu-Gi-Oh anime, and he's like, but you didn't think about my trap card.
Yep.
Yes. That's how I feel about every ace, especially Mega Gargo, especially. I let them read all their effects. They go through all their attacks. And that is something I want to tell everyone right now. Even if your opponent gets mad, they have to go through their effects. Okay? Because there are some instances where it can change the game. They must finish all their when attacking effects. I know, even me myself, I hate going through reading them all, and then they're like, I'm gonna counter that. I'm gonna blast Digivolve, and I'm like, fuck! Like I just spent 10 minutes explaining everything. Is because it does affect the board state. It can, maybe it will kill another Digimon. Like it'll do different things. Like if it plays out something, things like that. It's really important to finish it all because it can change the board state. Maybe you're able to swing through something and get piercing or anything like that. So just remember, guys, even if your opponent looks perturbed and you're playing against Rapidmon, finish your when attacking effects and then go through.
But if you read
Because
all
it's
your
not
when
blocker
attack,
timing.
yeah. If you read all your effects and then they do like the classic fix their glasses anime trope, then be mad.
Oh yeah, you're fucked. yeah, you're done. uh-huh.
Yeah. Got you now, Yugi.
All right, and then we got one more, and this is kind of the splashable air quote tamer and options to help in countering the meta. We got Kongua. Until the end of your opponent's turn, your opponent's Digimon with play cost 7 or less can attack players, and cards can't be added to the security stacks by your opponent's effects.
Shut up, vaccine.
Yeah, that's what I was like. Ha ha! It's like, what's Yellow Vaccine's weakness? The color black. It's my weakness.
That card was splashed in so many, black decks when it first dropped, and I never thought about it until I think I was playing against Alphamon, which I don't play anything that adds to security, but it's like my play cost of 7 or less. It's a lot.
Yeah, it is. It's a
And
ton.
it's a 2-cost stun.
It shuts down those Marcuses, shuts down those
Mm-hmm.
Numamon, shuts down that yellow vaccine. It can hurt security control just as well. That's a whole lot for 2 mana or 2 memory. Mana memory. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
oh, mana. Oh, God. Can't believe you said that on this podcast. Oh, God.
Can't wait to leave. And she's like, they were so unprofessional.
They said mana.
Yeah. No,
How dare they?
Like I said, it's a 2-cost stun. I don't want to say that's unheard of. Obviously, there's other cards sort of like it. You see a bit in blue. But to not add to the security stack is pretty large to any yellow deck, Shine Gray included, because doesn't the Marcus die and go to top security?
If you have Rise Gray out, yes. Or well, if you have the inheritable effect, which you probably do. Yes. Yes. Haha, Marcus.
Got him.
I'll show you to punch me in the face.
Yeah, and I think that was as much hate as that deck gets. I think a Tamer swinging was just like a cool thing, and then everyone started running that deck, and then it's like, oh, it's that fast. Like I was one of the first people I played against it. I lost in like a minute and a half, and I was like, so I'll be building that.
I waited so long to play that deck, and then once it arrived and it was full power, I was like, played it, I think, 1 or 2 locals, and I was like, yep, done with it. Not going to play it anymore.
I don't like I'm not a very competitive person, so I don't like taking meta to locals. When I do go, I don't go to my locals that much, to be honest. Um, just because our locals is on a Sunday at 2 p.m. It's like, dude, football's on. Like, I have a big family, like Sunday dinner, but yada yada. But um, I did take it once, and I didn't know how to pilot it correctly, so I didn't end up winning. But like a couple of games I did play and win, I was just like, oh, I see why I disliked this.
Yeah.
And that was back when people ran the ruin mode in it before uh the burst
We got the
modes.
level 7, the burst mode. Yep.
Yeah, people were just running the ruin
It was
mode.
gross both ways.
Yeah, and
Terrible deck. Cancer.
that was I made a TikTok about this. I talked about this in both Discords, mine and your guys's. I just don't think certain cards deserve or need an ace, and that was one of them. I was like, what do you guys do? Like, Bandai, what are you thinking?
Why are you giving this more stuff to piss me off?
I don't like to like talk like nerdy stuff with my wife, but I'm like, there's somebody my age in that office right now that's like, it would piss off a bunch of people. Shine Gray Ace. Why? And it was one of those things I tell my wife too. It's when you bring out cards like that or like OP decks or cards that make decks overpowered and fast, that's when the whole Digimon is dying stuff starts.
Yes.
And then the people, I don't want to disrespect anybody, but there's a lot of people that, when it comes to card games or hobbies in general, don't think for themselves and they just follow that big streamer, that big YouTuber. And they're just like, oh, so and so said it's dying. It must be dying. I'm getting out of the game. And then a month later, they upload a YouTube video of them playing the game. And it's like, oh, I sold my collection for you. Like,
Yes. Yes. And I think that's one of the biggest issues with the Pokemon, Magic, the big 3 card games. There's so many content creators that it balances it out. With Digimon, we've got, everybody probably watches A Vault. Probably, fan favorite. Yeah. We've got Mario, we've got Primitive Kage, we've got quite a few people. Well, Primitive was the one. He just got out of it. He just said, I'm done with it. We're just going to go ahead and scoop it. And now he's back.
Yeah.
Just throw that out there. He was one that was like, yep, I'm done with Digimon.
To a point, I can understand if you're not having fun. If you're not having fun,
Yeah.
that's fine. I think I made this comment earlier, and this is like no one did this. It was becoming a thing. I could see it coming, where bigger content creators were going to start making 15-minute video essays about why Digimon is dying, and it's like it was never dying. Like, you guys just enjoyed One Piece better. Digimon didn't die because you went to go play One Piece. It didn't die because you went to go play BSS. It's not going to die because you go play Union Arena. I don't think anything will kill the game other than Bandai and the player base itself, because I think Digimon itself is one of the better communities. But if Bandai puts out these OP cards, that's when communities become toxic, and that's when people stop wanting to be part of that community.
And I think, right now, like Drew mentioned it at kind of the beginning, was we're not in a rock, paper, scissors meta right now. All these decks we're seeing 2, 3, 5 of in tops, one of Beelzemon just topped.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's definitely, how your matchups go and everything. And I think they're going to see coming into BT-16, if you've played anyone that's playing in advanced of these cards, you see how powerful armor is, how powerful Mastamon is, and we're like, and we'll hear the same argument when we go into a rock, paper, scissors minute. It's going to be like, oh my gosh, it's the same. Just like when Melga was topping, it's the same deck over. it's just a wheel. Like you said, I totally agree with. If you're not part of the community or you're not really involved in it, it seems like it's dying. It would be like if you never watch football or soccer, or if you never play a certain video game, you're like, oh, that community's dead. Now there's some games like BSS that is on the rocks. Like
Yeah.
that ship is crashing. Like, and I mean, there's nothing as of right now, and I think that's Bandai's fault highly because they hyped it up so much and had these huge expectations, and then they just dropped the ball. So I blame that on Bandai, not so much the community, because I talked all the boys into getting some BSS,
I
and then the ship sunk shortly after.
Literally like 2 weeks later, the ship sunk. So that
yeah.
was unfortunate.
I w- I went
Sorry,
to
boys.
I went to the preview event and I had left. The Bandai rent was running a little late. I couldn't stay any later, so I was like, "Well, I'm gonna go home." And I showed up. That was a Saturday. I showed up Sunday to locals, and the guy that runs the shop, he's like, as soon as that band guy left, he's like, I took a vote and everyone voted. We're not doing this. I was like, all right, good.
Yeah.
It. I don't know. I like again. I didn't do the preview event, so I don't even know how to play the game. But like, you had a group of 15, maybe 20 nerds, and you couldn't sell them on a cardboard picture. Probably speaks
Yeah.
highly of either gameplay or design. And I think this was the third time BSS has come to the West.
Yeah. Battle Spirits, then Battle Spirits Saga, and which a lot of card games, Dragon Ball Super. It is crazy because I've dabbled in Dragon Ball Super, but that's one of those card games. Doesn't do well in our area. But then you'll go to a Bandai event where they've got One Piece, Digimon, and Dragon Ball Super, and you look over and there's 300 to 400 Dragon Ball Super players, and you're like, well, I mean, it's not dead clearly, but for in our area, it's hard to get 5 people to show up.
Mm-hmm.
So
So we're. I don't want to say I live in like a busy. I don't live in a busy part of my state. It is busier, but like I said, we're 40 minutes from Cleveland. Um, but I think just my area is one of the biggest bandwagon areas to where when new games drop, like everyone in this part of Northeast Ohio is like, get stock immediately. Let's like I said earlier, every Saturday I go to the comic book shop and he's writing out a list of Pokemon stuff to get. And he's like, if we don't get it now, we won't get it. It's like, really? Like, carries a lot of Digimon.
yeah,
It carries some Digimon. I didn't want to say a lot. Carries some Digimon, but like he doesn't. And rightfully so. He's a comic book shop, but he just doesn't care about the game. Like you'll walk in there and be like, hey, did you have any of the Double Typhoon starter decks? He's like, meh, didn't fit allocation this month. It's like, oh, okay, I get it. You're a comic book shop. But then, like, people at around here be like, I can't find Digimon. The game's dying. And it's like, dying. Dragon Ball just dropped. People are hype on that. One Piece OPO6 was huge. It just dropped.
yes. And format, like you said, formats go up. And what were you about to say, Tinython?
I was gonna say, I think a lot of the reason that Digimon's had people saying, "Oh, Digimon's dying," multiple times over the last year and a half, um, it's poor timing. These new card games are coming out at a time whenever people are deep into a meta and they're still waiting for new cards to come out, and so they take a break from Digimon to go play the new card game while Digimon is at a low point, and everybody thinks the game died because content creators and people at their locals have branched out to something else at the same time. But then a month later, like we said before, they come back and they're playing Digimon again. like nothing changed, because it didn't. Sometimes people just have to take a break.
Yep.
And the
Sometimes you just got to
competitive
step
scene
away.
affects a lot of it. Yeah, but competitive scene affects a lot too. I think we experience it. One Piece is big in our area. Pokemon is huge. Magic is still a pretty big thing. Yu-Gi-Oh is massive. So, I think the store regionals are going to help a ton. Well, that's just my prediction. That's not a fact. I just think it will help. Having those competitive natures, just like Pokemon has um, their little championships, and they have their, what are they called? Why did my mind go blank? But once a month they have a Pokemon event to where you can go and play, um, and it's better than locals. You get more points and everything. So yeah,
Kind of like what Digimon does with
Digimon's
store
definitely not dying.
championships.
Yeah, that's why I'm really hoping that store regionals will bring another big boost. I sadly think that a lot of people are not going to get into store regionals. I actually had a dream that we didn't get into store regionals, and I was very upset. That's how much I've been thinking about it. I had a dream about it, a fucking dream about it.
I think a lot of that
I was
comes
like,
down
oh no, we didn't get store regionals.
I think a lot of that comes down to, especially with Digimon media. So I think Liberators is going to be like a
Yeah.
breath of fresh air.
Yes.
I think
Super pumped.
Liberator. I think they've lined Liberator up right when they start the merge. So we'll have a new set every like month, and they're gonna have Liberator just promoting the crap out of all these new sets, and they're gonna pump it up, and then starting next year, it's gonna be booming. Because right now everybody's complaining. Most of the complaint posts about the card game is dying is because we're in a stretch of BT-15 until the end of May when BT-16 drops. I don't think there's an EX set dropping before that, right? No, it's the EX6 comes out
No.
after.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got until the end of May in the BT-15 format, and people are complaining because they're already bored with it. So they're going to start playing other card games. But once we start getting a
Oh,
new
just
set
wait.
every month, people are going to be complaining about we're
Yeah.
getting too much stuff. We're getting too much
Yes.
stuff. I can't keep up.
Yeah.
I think that's, like I said earlier,
Buy your singles, people.
I think that's why the merge is going to be so cool. Because when we do get into this long format, there's so much deck building you could do. Because we don't have a ton of decks out. Like net decking's still going to be a big
Information.
thing,
Yeah.
but like it's going to be a brand new, not a brand new world, but such a different world for the Digimon TCG, because it's not going to be as easy to net deck. So yeah, your BT-15's long, so build something else and play for fun. Like I say it all the
Well,
time. I don't
and
understand. Go ahead.
no, go ahead and finish your thought. I was going to just mention something else, but go ahead.
When we look at long formats and people are worried about regionals and Alti Cups and these big tournaments, there's nothing stopping you from joining a small Discord tournament and playing a fun deck and having fun and playing something no one's seen. Somebody just played a Wormmon deck the other day in a Discord local, like just based Wormmon, no
Macho
VMUG.
Sting, baby.
I was like, what?
I like that kind of stuff, though.
I'm just looking forward to it. Yeah. Well, and like we said, rock paper scissors formats may be cool for countering them, learning your matchups because there's not as many matchups. But this makes it good for us smaller content creators. There's so many decks to cover, and I think we're going to start seeing a new type of video come out. I was talking to Tiny about it a little bit before we jumped in here. There's done a person, shout out, Spotty Plays. I think he's a cool dude. I like his videos. Stumbled upon him a couple of months ago. He's now making videos instead of learning how to build a deck. You learn how to play against that specific deck. He's coming out with videos that show how to counter that this was a cool topic because Drew thought of it. Literally, I think his video came
I
out today,
I've I
and
sent
Drew
you
was done
guys the
talking
message.
about this.
I sent you guys the message, and then I was scrolling through the Facebook group, and then I seen his post, and I'm like, "What?"
Yeah,
Because
because
he posted
now
the
is a good time.
he posted the Rapid one. I don't know when he posted it, but I saw it today after I'd mentioned this, and then he just dropped a Sean Gray video.
It's just good because we've talked about it forever. I've tried to do it with Pokemon, and it's very hard to do with Pokemon. But that's when I would do my build videos. I think my Bill Star video that I did was one of our biggest hits. Is because it's cool because I gave why I put these cards in and what they match up well against. Like you can't just throw all the 7 cost options or why you run more Cocytus Breath over, Rivals Barrage or anything like that. I think the merge is going to make it a lot more fun for us smaller content creators to create content for it because it's just this wide open field that
Mhm.
we can do stuff. I'm
Yep.
excited.
My one of my favorite hobbies is because I don't get to play a lot. I just open Digimon IO and then scroll through the decks that have been posted and just click on them. Oh, what's this? What's this? That's new. Because there's always something different getting
Oh
posted
yeah.
on IO where people want to try to build something new.
Coolest part about, and not just Digimon, it's the coolest part about any card game is you don't have to build the deck that that big content creator has, or the YouTube video that says undefeated One Piece Luffy red purple deck. You don't gotta build that. Like you can build your
Yep.
own, and you might be just as successful as that undefeated deck.
Exactly. If everyone is following the cookie cutter format, how do we know if this deck doesn't work? We don't know if Gabubon can't thrive if we don't play Gabubon. You know what I mean?
Exactly. When I get that win with my boy Tyrannomon, well, that's when we'll showcase it.
Look, I want to see it. I want to see it happen. I want to see Tyranno take a regional.
Or just place. I would love to see you win.
Yeah,
But
make a top 16. People would have their minds blown.
hey, it can happen. Look, like these decks become popular due off their success. Content creators, like if they do well, like you know, why should you listen to the Digipod or why should you listen to the Cataclysmic Gamers or whoever, you know, or just dudes and guys and gals like everyone else. It's just I think that validates you more. So for instance, people have dabbled. Andrew's not the only Tyrannomon fanboy, trust me. Anytime he makes a post about Tyrannomon, people's like, they're salivating. I know this deck list. Is it tier 1?
Be brave.
It, pe-
Go
pe-
Eospawn.
people like their favorite Digimon and they want to play
50
that
card
deck.
Eosmon.
That's the thing.
Well,
Some people are playing just because they love this Digimon line and they want to play that list, or they want to build something based on it.
That's what I feel for.
that's why I think I love Digiguy's choice to play Metal Gar.
Love Melga. Uh, my older brother, he is he didn't like watch Digimon as a kid, but he got in the card game right around the time I did. And he just loves Gomamon. So BT-14 giving him Goma support, like the pure joy he had of just playing Gomamon as a deck, like a decent deck too. But it's like that's good. That's what the game is. You you either pick a favorite Digimon or a favorite Digimon is picked for you, and then you build that, and then you get to play with that, and you get to ogle at all the cool art that he's featured in, which I think Goma has one of the best all arts, like art wise, like style wise. I think that BT-14 alt Goma is beautiful, but it's also his favorite. So it means a lot to see. Not so much him because he's 31. It's like that's weird, dude. Stop looking at that card like that. But like children, they look at cool. Like my nephew loves Pokemon, so like when it's just cool to see him. He loves Charizard. It's so do every other kid. But when he pulls like the cool alts of Charizard, it's like his eyes light up and he's like, oh. It's like, all right, that's what it's about. Not tier 1 mirror match going into round 8 to top 16. Like,
We're
although,
supposed to be
yeah.
having fun.
Yeah. Now watch, someone's gonna lose at the next regional. Like those cataclysmic cardboard guys told me not to play meta.
Hey, but that's why I love Gamamon so much. It's one of those decks that some larger YouTubers said sucks, and I do not think the deck sucks because when you can ask Jordan, when it clicked in my brain why the new Can of Iceman is better than the Sec +1, I was like, and the Digimon Digivolution riff went off in my head, and I was like, this is it. This is what this is the way the deck's supposed to work.
You just hear that sick guitar riff.
Yeah. Yeah.
You do like the Frontiers Digivolution scene, all your clothes pop up. You're just as the card forms around
Yeah.
you.
I'm levitating.
Yeah.
That's the like Bill Star. I'll never let that deck die. I won't let Bill Starmon die. Ever.
Which is
Don't
weird
worry.
because you want the deck to die.
Yeah.
Not wrong.
Very true. Very true.
Don't worry, Mega Sweaty's got your back on that too. He's not gonna let it die.
It's a good deck. Believe me. He's played it at like 3 regionals. He loves it.
All right. Well, if you guys don't have anything else, Digiguy, tell us where you're at, where you can find you, plug your Discord.
Digiguy, we're just now getting started on YouTube. I'll be posting more for the TCGJungle, which is also the name of our Discord. There's a lot of playtesting that goes on in there, and then I try to do it every month. We do a monthly challenge. This month we invited your guys' Discord to join in on that. If you play in the Discord, either one, and you win, you can record that as a point, and then whoever has the most points at the end of April gets a box of the newest set. And I don't, no one ever waits on me. I feel like I always have to give this disclaimer. If you win the box, don't wait on me. Just find a box and send me the price, and I will cash app you the money. Besides that,
That's genius.
TikTok. Yeah, so we did a tournament a while ago, and the person that won, his area gets boxes like way before I do. And at the time, I wasn't going to pre-releases. So I was like, dude, I'll just shoot you $95 and we'll call it even. So yeah, monthly challenge. We do it in the TCGJungle Discord. You guys are invited in your Discord. So if you play in either one and win, record it, DM me. I'll give you your point. Whoever has the most points wins a box. And besides that, the old cap cutting TikTok.
Yeah, and I'll link an invite to your Discord in the description so everybody can hop in there and jump in on those April points.
Yeah, we try to do it every month. But when I first got into Digimon, boxes were $60. Now they're up there. So like every other month we do one. So April is the month, and then next would be end of May. We'll start another one.
Sweet. All right. Well, if you guys don't have anything else, Tony, get us out of here.
All right. This has been another exciting episode of the Security Check Digimon TCG podcast. Digiguy, it was great to have you on.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me on. I appreciate it.
And thank all you out there for listening. Stay safe, have fun, and we'll catch you next time.